World of Warcraft's The War Within is just released, and with it we get the whole new continent of Khazal Gore with a new story and a new level cap of 80. But once you finish the campaign and you reach max level, what do you do next? There is loads of new content at endgame specific for this new expansion, and it can be confusing where to start, what to prioritize, and what items you need to start certain events. So let's break it all down in the order of what you can probably go through them with all the big endgame activities. So first up, let's just talk about the campaign. So before you can do any of this, you need to complete the story. You need to complete the campaign, and this just involves going around each of the zones and doing the main quests that appear at the top when you look at your quest list. They start in Dornogal when you first get there, and it takes you all the way through all the zones to get the insect zone, and then you go back to Dornogal to finish. There's a big cutscene at the end, and that's when you're done. And then you'll get a little pop-up saying that you've unlocked world quests, world events, and all the endgame activities. So make sure you get all that done before you can start doing all the stuff we're going to be talking about next. The first big endgame activity I want to talk about is a new one, and it's the special assignment world quests. These appear on your map as a lock with a little banner under them. And what you have to do here is, in the zone, complete 3 world quests, and that will unlock the special assignment world quest. These are really important for everything else we're going to be talking about, so it's probably the first thing I'd be trying to do if you're just getting to endgame on a new character. So once you've done 3 world quests, you'll unlock the special assignment, go over to it, and it'll be some big event, like a big boss or some cool event. And once you've done it, you get a reward, which is a Seasoned Adventurer cache. And these are massive. I've opened a few, and usually you get a bunch of gold, like 1,000-ish gold. You get some crests, which are the new thing we need to upgrade your gear, and an adventurer level piece of gear. So these drop a 571 piece, and they can be upgraded all the way to 593, which is why this is one of the most important things to get done if you see it. These are timed, so just do them whenever they're up. This is like almost your BIS right now, especially in early access. These are really good pieces that you can start upgrading, ready for the big launch of Season 1. On top of this, you also get something called a restored coffer key in this cache, which is used to open special chests in Bountiful Delves. So this is kind of like the first step to everything else we're going to be talking about, which is why I've kind of put it in order. So let's talk about that next. What are Bountiful Delves? If you're completely new and you don't even know what a delve is, it's a new type of content where you go into these instance mine areas with an NPC and you do a bunch of tasks. You fight a bunch of enemies, you take down a big boss at the end, and then you get into a loot room, a big room full of gold and chests. And you can do these in higher ranks for higher rewards at increased difficulty. But on the map, you will notice these extra things, and they're like glowing delves. They're these glowing mines, and these are Bountiful Delves. Basically, they pick a couple of delves on the map at a time, and they become enhanced. They become bountiful with extra rewards. When you get to the end of these, they don't seem any more difficult, but when you get to the end, they have 2 bountiful chests at the end, which you can open freely. But then, behind these 2 chests, there is a purple chest called a Bountiful Coffer. And to open this, you need a coffer key. And we've talked about one way to get the coffer key, and that's from the special assignments, the big locked world quest where you do 3 world quests, do the special world quest. That gives you a coffer key in the cache. So that's one way to get it. The second way to get it is through World Soul Memories, which we'll talk about next. But yeah, once you've got the key, you open this up. And these have good loot in them. So the blue chests just kind of have the same old stuff, but the purple has a chunk of gold, a 571 item that again is an adventurer piece, so it can be upgraded all the way to 593. So again, a huge item you can be getting, especially this early. And then it has a Radiant Echo inside, which we'll talk about in the next section. So what are these Radiant Echoes? They're used to open world souls. So on your map, you'll see these things called World Soul Memories. They're in certain zones on a timer, they move around, and when you see them, you go over to them and you use 1 Radiant Echo to open it, and you get 5 minutes of Radiant Memories. This basically just spawns a ton of ghost enemies for 5 minutes, and you defeat as many as possible to increase your score. You can work with other people. There's other people that will be here doing it with you, and you're basically just taking down as many mobs as possible. Take out the silver elites whenever they spawn. Any other events, like if it spawns Azurite that you can mine, go do that. But just try and pump your score up as much as possible. So yeah, nothing fancy here, but after the 5 minutes is up, you'll get a reward based on your score. The reward is Valor Stones, which is our new upgrade material. You know, you use Valor Stones and crests, very similar to the last expansion. So that's huge, and the better your score, the more you get. And then you get coffer key shards. 100 of these coffer key shards can be combined to make a coffer key that can be used to open the Bountiful Delve coffer. So it kind of all comes back to that. It all comes around together. So I don't know if that's overcomplicated, but to keep it really, really simple, do 3 world quests to open your special assignment world quest. That gives you gear, and it gives you a coffer key. The coffer is used in the Bountiful Delve, which also gives you gear and Radiant Echoes to open the World Soul Memories. go here and you get Valor Stones and you get Coffer Key Shards to get more keys to go back into the Delves to continue that circle. So yeah, that's it, as simple as possible. The next big things to do in Endgame is the other zone events. There is the Theatre in the Isle of Dawn, there is the Awakening the Machines event in the Ringing Deeps, and then there is the Spreading the Light in Hollowfall. Right now in Early Access, we have access to everything except for the Awakening the Machines event. That hasn't started yet, but people are assuming it's going to start on the full release. So yeah, these events are tied to the location they are in. They're tied to the reputation of the location they are in. So you go there, you look for the horn icon on the map, and you just start working on that faction's event. So yeah, just open your map, look around for these horn icons, and see where they're starting and when they're starting. So for example, the Theatre, this starts in the Isle of Dawn, I believe every hour, like on the hour, and you just go there, you talk to the guy, and you start the event. And this is just a very simple do what they tell you to do, similar to what we had in the last expansion, like a time rift. You just go and, you know, defeat some mobs or go and move some things or click on some things and interact with certain people, that kind of thing. And as you complete all this random stuff, you fill up a bar along the top with the other people doing the event. Hitting certain milestones gets you a better reward, and you just have to get the best you can in the limited time that you have. The Awakening the Machine event in the Ringing Deeps is surviving against waves of enemies. I believe if it's the same as it was on the beta, it's every 5 waves you can choose to stop, and if you complete all the way to wave 20, you get the best reward. That's kind of how it's going to be when it comes out. And then you have the Hollowfall event, which is probably one of the longer or more involved ones of all the different world quests. And this one is when you see the horn icon of the Hollowfall event, it's surrounded by stars, little star icons on your map. If you go and do every one of these stars, these are lit beacons. These are beacons that are lit with fire, and around them there is like a circle with an event, and it'll be, you know, to do certain things, defeat certain enemies. And every single one of these lit beacons has one of these, and every single one has a reward. So you can spend a lot of time doing all of these. Additionally, there's like these little braziers, and if you light these, it will bring out an NPC, and the NPC will give you a quest, which gives you additional rewards. So there's a ton of time to be spent here. And if you really stay here a long time, you can get a ton of rewards. I'll show you, I think it was like just over an hour I spent here doing all of the quests and then all of the little mini quests from the NPCs. You actually get a ton of rewards here. But either way, no matter what zone you're doing, no matter which one of these reputational zone quests you're doing, you will get a bunch of rewards. And they have resonance crystals, which is like our new supply type item in the War Within to buy things with. And then you can get gear and you get reputation with the faction you're working with. So yeah, there's some big time consuming things that you'll probably want to be doing every week. But what about dungeons? We haven't even spoken about dungeons. If you're looking for something that isn't time gated or isn't limited, you have dungeons. Right now in early access, we have the normal dungeons, which drop 554 gear that isn't on an upgrade track. So it's kind of weak. But on the full release in a couple of days, you'll be able to do heroic dungeons, which drop Explorer gear, which starts at 567 and goes as high, I believe, as 580. Now, this isn't the best gear. It's not incredible. It's not, you know, the meta to get ready for season 1, but it's okay. It's decent. And if you level an ult and you just throw them into a bunch of heroics when they're out, that is a fast way to get fully geared to a decent level. It's a good baseline to start going into the harder delves. It's a good baseline to start all of the open world activities and getting all of your, you know, your adventure gear that you can start upgrading. It's also a good way to fill up any gaps if you found some really good items from these other world events, these big items, or you've defeated rares and got really good items, but you've still got some that are lacking that you just can't find. Then heroics are a good way to just get good coverage of decent level gear. So that's the big things. But now let's just talk about everything else. I'm just going to throw everything else together because it's all just little things to be mindful of. One thing, as with all expansions, is to check the main city. Check Dornagal. Go around and look for big quests. Grab any daily or weekly quests as they are well worth your time. Right now, there's a quest to go into a delve. You can choose the faction of your choice to give experience to. So it picks a delve, you go in, and you get experience for doing it. But as we hit out of early access and as we hit into season 1, we'll likely get the usual big juicy quests that are like go complete 5 delves or go complete 5 mythic dungeons or something like that. And they'll give a really high level item. They'll give a really good reward or a massive bump load of reputation. These were really good last time, and I'm assuming they'll be really good this time. So make sure you check Dornagal at the start of each week. Other than that, it's up to you. There's a bunch of new mounts that you can start working on. There's rares that spawn that drop really high level adventurer gear to farm. Each of the professions have been completely reset with new specializations to grind out, so you can go and get all those items in the open world to give you specialization points. You can go and learn all the new recipes. There's new nodes to discover, new fishing events and items to work towards. There's new reputations to grind out or with rewards. And if you've done all of that, there's alts to level. So yeah, there's no shortage of things to do, but I don't want to go into every single thing you can do because there's a lot. But these are the things that you can start working towards, things that are on a timer, things that need certain items that hopefully this helps put them in a structure that's easy to understand and in a format that you can kind of see what you need and the paths you need to take to unlock certain things. But hopefully this guide's been helpful and helped explain the endgame content. If it does, do consider subscribing to the channel as I make guides on MMOs and RPGs and have a ton planned for the War Within. And if there's anything else you want to ask or if there's anything I've missed here that you want to talk about, let me know in the comments and I'll try my best to answer. But that's it from me. Take care and I'll catch you in the next one.